Hello and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be quickly talking about the newest Bannerlord blog, which is building on the one from a couple of weeks ago, which is to do with weapon physics. Now, they're focusing on the types of damage, energy and damage, speed bonuses, and impact points. Okay, so the first thing they talk about is energy and damage. It reads, in Bannerlord, we try to come up with a good model that is somewhat based on physics, but is still simple and understandable for players. In our model, damage depends on kinetic energy dissipated during the impact. However, energy is not converted to damage directly, as we use several extra steps in our calculations. It reads, a weapon hit can have 3 different types of damage: cut, pierce, or blunt. These 3 types have different trade-offs. A cutting weapon is most efficient in converting kinetic energy of the weapon into a hit point damage. However, it is also least effective against armor. It then talks about blunt weapons, which may require more hits for taking down an opponent. However, they make up for this by being least affected by armor. So blunt weapons will include maces and things that can just bash through armor. Obviously, cutting weapons will include swords, anything like with a blade, basically. The last bullet point is piercing weapons, which sit somewhat between cutting and blunt weapons. So they're kind of like the balance between the two, and probably quite a solid choice if you're not sure which extreme to take. It also points out that better made and more expensive weapons will inflict more damage. Now we're going to be talking about speed bonus. It reads, as our calculations are physically based, we no longer need to calculate an extra speed bonus like we do in previous games in the series. We simply get the attackers and the target's velocities and feed these into equations. This results in a realistic and accurate way where the attack damage is affected by speed. So they're basically trying to make this as realistic and also as, well, not complicated, but it sounds pretty complicated, as possible. Now they're talking about impact points. So it reads, for swings, damage depends on the location of the impact point on the weapon. When showing weapon statistics in the inventory, we simply show damage as if the attack's connected at a point a few centimeters below the tip. During combat, we take the impact point from the position of the weapon and the target, so it's not necessarily near the tip. So, for example, an axe that advertises itself as having 80 damage can deliver much less if it hits the target near the grip. This is realistic, and I like this because it means you're not going to have like an axe, even though you've hit it basically where the shaft is and you've hit someone with the shaft, it's not going to do like the same damage as if you hit it with the head of the axe. I like that a lot. We're now talking about weapon balance and damage. So it reads, as we discussed in the first part of the blog, weight and the weight distribution basically determines how much kinetic energy accumulated in the weapon's swing, obviously from the person swinging their weapon, is calculated. So it says lighter weapons are faster and more agile. Heavier weapons can take more time to connect, but this gives more time to increase their energy, making them more powerful because they're basically in the air for a lot longer. Okay, so this energy, once actually connected with the target, will go 3 different ways. Some of the energy will stay with the weapon, since the weapon will not necessarily come to a stop. A lot of that energy will go to the impact with a victim, possibly like cutting off their arm or something. Not that there's decapitation in Bannerlord as far as I know. And lastly, a portion of the energy will go into kicking back the attacker's hands and like forcing the person back because of the impact of that weapon. Anyway, guys, that's it for this week's blog. It's just covering damage, and I like how much detail they're going into. We're still waiting for a release date, but I think we're going to be waiting for a lot longer than anybody predicts. We're just going to let them take their time. I'm just, sitting on the sidelines, making some videos, and hopefully we'll see something in the near future. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't checked out my last Bannerlord video, go ahead and check that out. It has like a little storyline, cinematic kind of thing in it, so I'd be very happy if you check that out, as well as other videos on my channel. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next battle.
Song for a broken hearted.